guys, I'm back with another video, and this one I did a little bit of it off screen. You're going to see there a large silhouette cut file. It's from Paige Evans, and it's just a series of books. I put that on gray cardstock, and what I did was I cut it. Instead of making a full cut, I did perforated so that it made small little perforations so that I could sew through it. And then I just picked out an array of different colored cloth to sew through, and this was quite a task. Sewing this took me, I would say, 2.5 hours, not consecutively, but just on and off. I just kind of brought it in the car with me over the weekend as we were running errands and sewed it. And then I took 2 pieces of background paper from those 2 paper pads that I shared in the Tuesday morning haul that I did the other day. One of them is from Crate Paper. It was the Maggie Holmes collection, and then the other, the aqua one that's just barely showing, is from the Dear Lizzie pack. And I just popped my entire gray piece of cardstock on foam or pop dots because with the sewing it just couldn't lay flat. And here on this first book on the right hand side, I'm using some basic gray letters to write a quote that I had on Pinterest and wanted to use on a layout. I knew I wanted to use it. This whole layout is basically talking about my reading year last year. In 2018, I was able to read 95 books, which I have never read that many books in a year, and it was just a very solid reading year with some really good books, and so I just wanted to kind of capture A, my love for books, and B, what that reading year looked like and some of my favorite books. So the quote is, "Reading gives us someplace to go when we have to stay where we are." Ta-da, that was me saying ta-da, done. And now I'm trying to find on that first book, on that top sewn square, I want it to put, so originally I was going to put the number 95, basically just stating that I read 95 books, but you'll see later on I switched that number to 18 for 2018 because I realized there was just no space for me to explain that I read 95 books, and so I opted to do something different. And also that sticker pack was in cursive, and I felt like I wrote the quote with block lettering, and so putting cursive letters for the number they didn't fit. So I'm looking for something more block-like. Here, that's my thicker container that I'm just sort of sorting through, and I'm finding some thickers to put there that match with the font that I had already used. So I find these foam thickers, and I decide that I'm going to use them, but I think I switch it out again a little bit later. So you'll see I switch them out in a little while. Really quickly, I did upload a different process video that was titled Ice Cream earlier this week, and my apologies, I'm so rusty on editing. I realized that I didn't mark the box for HD, so I noticed when I played it back it was a little grainy, so I will ensure that I do that this time. It's just going to take me some time, everyone, to get used to this process again. So I showed you my picture here. It's a 4x4 Instagram photo. For my birthday, my friend and I went on a little getaway to St. Armand's Circle in Siesta Key, and they had a cute little bookstore there that I was shopping at. So I decide that I'm going to make this 4x4 photo kind of a pocket for some journaling cards that are from Project Life. They also are from the Maggie Holmes Storyteller collection, which is a perfect collection to use if you're documenting something related to books or reading. So I'm putting some foam adhesive, I cut it in half, and I'm just putting it on 3 sides of the picture to kind of make a pocket. So I pulled a few different Project Life cards to put behind this photo. The first one side of it just looks like a bunch of books standing up on a bookshelf, and so I didn't write anything on the back of that one. I really just used it because it kind of brought in all the colors of the layout together. And then the second one looks like a library card, and so I put that through my mom's old word processor, and I typed in my 5 top books for 2018, so my 5 favorite books that I read on there. That way I can always reference it in the future. And I really like the way that it came out. That journaling card I must have pulled out to use on a previous layout, so it already had sticky adhesive on the back. I must have pulled it off a layout. So I just used my little tool that takes off the sticky. It's got powder in it, and I just took the powder off. No one's going to see the back of that card unless they go into my scrapbook album and pull it out. But I wanted to make sure it didn't get stuck as it moves in and out of this pocket that I made from the photo. So now I'm working on just making the cluster of embellishments that I'm going to put around the photo. I just get overwhelmed if I have too many products out. So before I make a layout, once I have an idea in mind, I take that little white tray and I go around my scrap room and get different pieces of ephemera or embellishments or chipboard that I think are going to go with this layout, and I just put a bunch of them on that, plate essentially, and I bring it to my table, and then whatever I don't use I end up putting back. It's just easier for me to do that than have a bunch of products on my desk. It just distracts me. So on the bottom of the picture you'll see an open book that's making a heart out of the pages. That's what I decided to use as the base, and then there's a pink paisley stack of books that's sort of standing up that I put next to the photo. In a little bit you'll see there's one purple book, and there's absolutely no purple on any other part of my layout. All the other colors there are. So I just decided to cut out that purple book and shorten sort of the stack of books. I smushed them together. And then on the spine of that green book I had another My Stories journaling card that had a little book quote. So I cut it out to kind of just look like what you would see on the spine of a book. So now I'm just adhering everything down. As you can see in the pocket, there's that library card that says Top 5 Books of 2018, and then the other library card that just shows a bunch of books standing. I used this little embellishment that looks like almost like a clip from a clipboard, and I adhered it with some gold staples, and then I decided to put gold staples also on the spine of the book, the green book where I have that journaling card quote. I just wanted to sprinkle a little bit of gold around the page since there was some gold in some of the embellishments I was using in the cluster. So I'm just kind of fussing with all of the embellishments on the bottom. That's when I decided to cut off the purple book, and now I'm just adhering that chipboard piece to the bottom as well. I had used the stuff to make my stickers non-stick, so I had to put adhesive on all of those clusters, because if not they would get stuck to that little tray that I collect all the embellishments I think I'm going to use. So now I'm just adhering things down. I will say I struggled a little bit with this layout. I had the idea of using the quote, and I had the idea of doing the stitching, and beyond that I really didn't have any other thought. So I struggled a little bit with just, okay, what am I going to do now? How am I going to decorate the remainder of this? What's the title going to be? So here's where I decide to switch. Because I used those gold staples all around the page, I remember that at Tuesday morning I got those black stickers with the gold glitter in the middle. So I changed my number to 18, and I'm going to make my title My Save of 18, basically 2018. And these are foam letters that are from, I think, an Amy collection, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But I'm just trying to re-adhere them so that all the cursive kind of fits in all the crevices nicely of the layout, and that my title can fit in that upper left-hand corner. So I'm just doing that. There's a lot of stopping and thought related to this. You can see on my little tray I have a little coffee mug from Chamel's line that I wanted to use, because anytime I'm reading I'm pretty much drinking coffee, but I just couldn't get it to work, and there wasn't enough journaling on this page to explain everything about my reading related to 2018, so I just focused on my top 5 books. So just thinking what I'm going to do next, I start looking at some labels that I thought matched that I had on my desk, but I'm not really sure where to put them because a lot of the labels go horizontal and the books are vertical. So I continue to just work on adding my title there. Originally it said Save of 18, but I then saw that I had the word my, and I thought that that would be better than just Save of 18, saying my save. Now I'm looking through all of my what are these called? Enamel dots. And I'm looking for 3 yellow dots that sort of match the yellow embroidery floss that I used for that first book. And I'm just putting it on one of the books as some texture. I felt like the page needed a little more texture in different areas. So I moved these dots around a lot of different places. At first I was going to put 3 on the bottom and 3 on the top of that label, and then I realized I don't have 3 of the same color. So I removed them and put them to the book on the right-hand side when I realized I can't find 6 that match total. So I'm curious to hear what editing software everyone uses for their videos. I have a PC, I don't have a Mac, and right now I use PowerDirector 12. That's just what I have, and I'm not willing to pay for any additional software. This is software I had 2-3 years ago to use, and I find it really easy to use it, and of course time is always a factor. So once I get those yellow enamel dots where I want them, I start looking. I had about 2 sticker sheets from crepe paper that I had just pulled out of my drawer really quick because I felt like I needed to move some of that yellow around the page. So I was trying to find just a few little stickers or embellishments that I can put. You'll see I added a yellow chipboard heart right below the quote. That came from a crepe paper chipboard sheet. I can't remember the name of the collection, but I just kind of hunted through trying to find that yellow color. So now I'm just kind of sorting through the last bits here. I'm wrapping up the layout, just trying to decide what else I want to do. I was debating on putting some green enamel dots on there, and then I thought, no, let's not do that. And I had so much going on the left-hand side of the page, I just didn't want to over-embellish. I have a tendency to do that. And I think that the layout where it stands right now kind of has my point across. It has the quote. It has my list of my favorite books, and the year. And so I just didn't want to overdo it with things. So here I am with the sticker sheet. I add a little banner that's yellow, and I didn't like the heart that was already on it. So I think I take another sticker sheet and I add a black and gold heart above it, which I thought was a good idea because now I'm adding some more of that gold around the page. And then on the bottom there, I didn't speak about that, but on the green book you see 2 little tiny words, and I think it says making memories. I had tried to stamp a date there, and because of the floss from the threading, it stamped terribly, and so it was an accident, and so I just did my best to cover it up, and I thought the 2 little words and then a pink heart would cover it fine, and it still looked okay. So that's what I did, to sort of just cover up my mistakes. Well, that's basically it. That's my layout. Thanks guys for coming back. I'll do my best to post these as often as I can, and here are some pictures of the final product.